Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the ones who live. This one is going to be doing a major discussion topic. I think this is probably the biggest question in all of the Walking Dead universe right now, which is the question of where will Rick go after these 6 episodes? Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for the ones who live, this one's going to be doing another discussion topic video. A lot of you guys wanted me to go ahead and do a video on this one, and I figured it's a good idea because we haven't done a video for the ones who live in about 2 weeks roughly, so it's been a hot minute since we've done one. But this one is probably, like I stated in the opening, it is probably the biggest question all of the Walking Dead fans have about the series, because, at least in my opinion, and I'm going to get this out of the way before we even get into this, yes, I think Rick will survive. Yes, I think Rick will get out of the show alive. I don't see any reason why you would kill him off when, you brought him back to make his own series, when you could have killed him in the main show, at least in my opinion. So I think Rick is going to definitely survive. At least these 6 episodes. I think Rick will survive. Now, we know that this is a limited series. We know that it's just going to be 6 episodes. So wherever it ends, you know what I mean? And that's going to be it. Now, we also know that they've said that this is the wrap-up of Rick and Michonne, but I find it very hard to believe that the wrap-up of Rick and Michonne is done in 6 episodes. And I also find it hard to believe that the wrap-up of Rick and Michonne is still nothing from Alexandria, nothing from anything else, because I have not heard anything about filming with the Judith actress. I haven't heard anything about filming with Lenny James. I haven't heard anything about any of that. The only person we know that was there during the final day of filming was Norman Reedus, because he posted that on his Instagram. That's public knowledge. We know that Norman Reedus was on the Rick and Michonne finale. We know he was. Whether he was there to visit and he wasn't included, or Daryl actually has a scene with Rick again at the end of this show, it's hard to tell. We have no idea. But where does Rick's story go from here? Because, in my opinion, getting the photo of Norman Reedus on set is, in my opinion, giving it a very high chance that Rick is going to go to another show. And I think Rick is going to go to another product. I don't think that Rick himself is done after these 6 episodes. Now, I could see a scenario where Michonne is done. I could see a scenario where Denai Guerrero wants to leave. She wants to be done with the franchise, and this show will wrap up Michonne's character. I could see that. Because Denai Guerrero is very busy. She's been doing a whole lot of stuff recently. Black Panther, directing and filming and stuff. And she's been in a whole bunch of stuff. And she really does not want to be part of The Walking Dead anymore. You can tell. She wants to wrap it up. So, in that case, it kind of makes it clear that it's like, okay, you bring her back. You get a reunion between her and Rick. And then what you do with her after that, we'll have to see. But I am a little bit on the worried side, because it does mean that they could, if they really had no choice, kill Michonne in this show, which is not something I want to see, but it is something I'm ultimately preparing for. Whereas with Andrew Lincoln's been begging Scott Gimple to come back to the character for many years. He even made a statement during the season 10 days of The Walking Dead that said, "I never should have left." And apparently Scott Gimple would not let him come back to the main show. Apparently Angela Kang wanted to write stuff for Rick. She wanted to bring him back, but Scott Gimple did not want to do that. He did not want to bring Rick back for the final season, which I will always cannot stand him for that. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. But it is what it is. It's said and done. So, all that being said, I think Rick's story is definitely going to continue. I don't think they're going to kill Rick off. I still think that he is going to serve this franchise for a long time. I do. And to be honest, I think this show is the grand return of something way bigger, to be honest. This is what I think they're going to do. It's going to be 6 episodes. I think, give it a 60-70%, unfortunately, Michonne will die. I really could see that happening at this point, to be honest. I know that might sound crazy, but I really think they're going to kill Michonne. I really do. And I think that's Gimple's sneaky way of doing it by calling it The Ones Who Live. To be honest, I don't see Michonne living. I really don't. There's a small part of me that does, but there's a lot of me that says that Michonne is not going to live. I really don't. And I think that's what this whole show is going to be about, is the wrap up of this couple. You know what I mean? And in Walking Dead fashion, they're going to wrap it up in a really, really sad type of way. And to be honest, I would not even be surprised if it was Major General Beale that took her out, to be honest. I really could. I could see that really, starting a major conflict between General Beale and Rick, which is, I'm sure, going to be going down in multiple spin-offs and multiple shows and, stuff like that. Now, this is what I think they're going to do with Rick. I think that at the end of 106, the reason why Norman Reedus flew in is because this is going to take place during the events of Season 2B or of early Season 3 of Daryl Dixon. Because if you remember, we did have some information that came out a few months ago where there was some behind-the-scenes leaks that Season 3 of Daryl Dixon was not going to be in France, which therefore means that we will probably have Daryl that ends up going back to the US and probably syncing up the timelines to where he meets Rick again. Because why was Norman Reedus down there, right? Why was Norman Reedus down there for the final episode of, Rick and Michonne? He could have been down there for support and support only. That's absolutely possible. But I get the idea that Carol is going to bring Daryl back to the States once she catches up to him in Season 2. I really do. I think that's 100% what they're going to do. And Daryl will make it back, and they will find Rick in some way, shape, or form. And honestly, I think that Daryl Dixon Season 3 will have Rick in it. I do. And I think that's why a lot of people are kind of sitting there saying, like, I don't understand the point of Daryl Dixon. I don't understand why that show exists and stuff like that. I'm telling you right now, they're going to have Rick in this show at some point. Honestly, it's the only thing they could do at the moment that's not a totally new series, which I don't see them announcing an entirely new series again, to be honest. I think that Rick will join the Daryl Dixon series. I think that the reunion and that brothership that we've been wanting is going to be in that show. I really do. I think it's going to be at the end of The Ones Who Live, but it's going to set up for Season 3, of the Daryl Dixon series. That's exactly what I think they're going to do. So, here's the thing I'll say about it. At least in my opinion, I think Daryl Dixon is the biggest, option for Rick at this point, because Rick going to Dead City just doesn't really feel like it's time, or it would connect that well. Not to mention, Dead City is several years ahead in the timeline, so there would be a lot of timeline problems there. But Daryl Dixon only takes place like a month, I think, after the end of the original Walking Dead, so you could definitely have Rick appear in the Daryl Dixon series. You could definitely do that. And in my opinion, that's 100% what they're going to do. That's 100% where I see this going, is we will get the reunion at the end of The Ones Who Live, which is why Norman Reedus was there, and it will set up for Daryl Dixon Season 3, which we know is already in the planning stages. So that's at least where I see this going. That's where I see this whole thing going down. I think Rick will make an appearance in the Daryl Dixon series, more than likely Season 3, or late Season 2. I mean, I doubt it, but maybe late Season 2. I think they are going to connect those two shows. I do. I think it's just a matter of how. It's just a matter of when. And I think that Norman being down there for the final day of filming for The Ones Who Live is a major sign that they will connect these shows. And that's why people that say, like, I'm not watching the Daryl Dixon series, I'm like, well, you're going to be lost then, guys. I'm sorry, but, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to be lost, because after a little while, Daryl and Rick are going to be in the same show, I guarantee, and then it's going to be a big mess. So, yeah, the Walking Dead universe really makes it to where you got to watch every single show, you got to watch every little bit of the franchise, and they force it on you. Absolutely, they do. So that's why I'm just going to be watching all the shows, you know what I mean? I mean, mostly out of interest, because I'm very interested to see what happens with these characters, but also because, if you don't watch all the spinoffs, you're going to be confused at some point or another, and that's just a pain in the ass for entertainment. So, let me know in the comment section below, what are you guys expecting for the Daryl Dixon series? Do you think that Rick will be in the Daryl show? Do you think my theory is right? Do you think that Michonne possibly could die in The Ones Who Live and Rick will go to Daryl Dixon? Do you think that's what they're going to do with him? Also, might be a bit easier for Andrew Lincoln, flying-wise, if maybe they do remain in France. Maybe, they'll do it to kind of help Andrew out. I don't know, but either way, a lot of ways this could go down, I think, but I think overall, I think he's going to be going to the Daryl Dixon series. So, anyway, if you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos of the Walking Dead universe. Make sure to follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead Reviews on Instagram, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for Daryl Dixon and The Ones Who Live. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.